I'm Marianne, and I work with John at the studio. I upload the kilns and unload them and do glazes, and well, Kay does a lot of glazes. But anyway, I do help. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to do a pumpkin. You could do it for Halloween, or you could do it for Thanksgiving, or any of the fall holidays. It's just a nice little deco. It's real simple. So first thing we did was roll out a slab. As you can see, it's pretty thin because you want a thin pumpkin. We took this, rolled it out on the top, so it has a little bit of texture, but you don't have to have texture, or you can use stamps or anything else you want. It's pretty simple, whatever decorations you want. You could leave it plain and then decorate it with underglazes when it's bis dry. But once you put the deco on the top, then what you're going to want to do is flip it over, because this will be the inside of your pumpkin and that will be the outside. Then what I did is I took and I just cut out of paper a funky little star. And it doesn't even need to be perfect. You could do rounded edges here, and I don't really care if it goes out, because when I cut it out, I'm going to make sure it does that. So I'm going to place it on here, get a needle tool, and then I'm just going to take the needle tool and make a little, go all the way to the edge. Again, the pumpkin isn't perfect, so it doesn't really matter if you get these little edges perfect, and they can be wider here or, you know, thinner. Not too thin, actually, because you want to be able to put them together. Okay. Take these, put these over here. We're going to leave one over here because we're going to make some leaves and a little stem for the top. Take this, then I'm going to take a sponge and just kind of smooth my edges down a little bit before I put it together. I'm not adding a lot of water because this clay is already very wet. So then all we do now is we start taking these, putting these together like this, cross them over, and I'm pressing them down here a little bit so that they're going to stay together. And then I'm going to cut off the little, well, before I, cut this down, cut this off. And it's not rocket science. You don't, it doesn't have to be really perfect, because you can smooth it out. Put this over the top. Now what I'm going to do is take some of this leftover clay here. I'm going to roll it up. Cut off the ends a little bit so it makes like a little stem. Then I'm going to take my needle tool and just do little like this. And then I'm going to twist it a little bit, and then it kind of looks woody. And then you can kind of take it and turn it, make it look kind of creaky or whatever. Set that aside. And then take this piece of clay and cut little leaves. So I'm just going to do like this. Smooth them out a little bit. You don't want to press down on this, otherwise you'll collapse your piece. So I'm going to take and do some slipping and scoring here. A little slipping and scoring on here. A little water on this. And then just put a little, cut out a few more. I mean, you can cut out as many leaves as you want, and they can be any shape you want. I didn't really decorate that one, but this one you could put like a little line in it, and make it a little more decorative if you want. It doesn't matter. Either, whatever you do, I mean, there's no wrong thing because it's a pumpkin and it's going to be cute anyways. And then I'll do more. Because I like things in odd numbers of 3s. Slipping and screwing not much, just wanted to stick around there. Pull back just a little bit. And then I'm going to take my little stem here. If it comes apart, just squish it together. This is really wet clay, so it's going to be really forgiving. If your clay's stiffer, then make sure you slip and score it better than this. But for today's purposes, we're using the clay that John had, and it's just a little bit wet. So we slip and score that, put that on it. You can make that thing kind of go up and down, and when it dries a little bit, I'm going to kind of squish it up as it dries so that it'll stay up. And then those leaves are making it pretty heavy. But even if it's a little squishy, it's fine. But you get the idea. And you would probably want to use, maybe I can do this. You would probably want to use stiffer clay, but for today's purposes, we're not. So I'm going to put this in there so it stays up a little bit, and then I'll take it out before it gets too dry. There we have a little pumpkin. And you can make these huge or bigger. And again, the stiffer the clay, the more it's going to hold its shape. And there's a pumpkin.